If you've ever wished that you could get your hands on some more past paper questions or practice tests for your teen, then this video is for you, because this week's question is super tangible and super specific, and you know I love super specific, so I'm going to give you some very immediately actionable tips and actions that you can go and do to get more practice questions for your teen for free. So Suma asks, what resources do you recommend for the students to have a go at practicing test type questions for the core subjects? Now, of course, if your teen is in grade 11 or 12, then they're going to want to download the past papers for their subjects for their exams. Now, that can be for their state, of course, but I know that for some states, there are not that many past papers available, or they've changed the syllabus, so they don't have lots of ones that they can download, or maybe they've already downloaded them and they've done them and they want something else. So what I suggest to those students is go and get them from other states, because very often there's huge overlaps in terms of the syllabus content. Your teen should be clear enough on what content and topics they are covering to know whether the questions here are aligned with what they need. And if they're not clear enough, then that is the first step, is to get them super clear on their syllabus content. Now, students who are members in my 10-week program or as a next level coaching student, they all have access through the study vault in the member portal. There are direct links to all of those exam boards and all of those past papers. Now, what if they've exhausted those and they want something else? Or what if they're not in grades 11 or 12? Well, I have some other specific tips for you. So the thing I would do is, I'm referring back to my good old England days where I started my teaching and actually started my, experience as an examiner as well. And they have an amazing stash of resources of past papers and mark schemes and sample responses. Now, again, there will be some discrepancies, of course, around syllabus content, particularly in those humanities subjects like history and geography, where, of course, here we do a lot more Australia-specific content, but I will give you some tips for that as well. So the thing I would go and do is actually go and have a look at GCSE past papers. So that's everything up to Year 10 equivalent here. So especially for those students in grades 9 and 10, this will be perfect, because really the content that is covered in subjects like chemistry or maths, or even sport and HPE, are very similar. Okay, those things don't really change. We still study algebra and quadratic equations and data and statistics in maths, no matter where we're studying it. So those are really fantastic, and they have heaps out there for you to be able to download. So just type in GCSE exam past papers and you will easily find plenty of resources to go and download from those. So that's perfect for students in years 9 and 10. There are even actually we used to have two tiers. We have foundation tier and higher tier papers. They're still all aimed at that same age level, but there are some that only allow students to get up to a grade C, and then there's some that allow students to get up to the grade A, of course, for those students who struggle a little bit more, and more for those high flyers. So be sure to choose a tier that's relevant for your team. The other thing is that New South Wales used to have the school certificate. So the school certificate was an exam system that kicked in at the end of year 10, and they ended it, I think the last year was in 2011, but there are still past papers out there on the internet to be found. Now, NISA, the examination board for New South Wales right now, does not publish them anymore on their website. But if you actually instead go to Google and type in school certificate, and let's say geography, because like I said, those humanities subjects, we tend to want something more specific to Australia. Type in school certificate past paper or school certificate exam geography, and there will be lots of past papers published, very often from schools that have had them stored and want to use them with their students. And especially, given the past 12 months, a lot of these things are now online, even if they weren't before, and they are there for you to be able to download, again, for free. Nothing wrong with it. They're out there on the internet. It's not like something that you shouldn't have access to. It's just that because, it's not a relevant examination system anymore for New South Wales, that's why they just don't publish them on their website. So I'm not giving you any, secret access to anything that anybody shouldn't have. I'm just telling you where to look so that you've got some additional resources that you can go and find for free that are going to be at the right level for your teen and have that exam style to them, because they are real life exams exams, and they can practice their exam technique and looking at those marking guides as well to be able to see how they're going, see where marks are allocated, and all the rest of it. I won't get into the whole joy of going into mark schemes. So score certificate past papers, GCSE past papers, and if they want an alternative to the year 12 past papers, they can even look at A-level as well. That's the equivalent in the UK as well. Again, they've got a huge amount of resources and past papers for that too. So I hope that is helpful. And if you want your teen to become an expert in exam technique, dissecting the question, and understanding how mark schemes really work, then be sure to consider them for the next round of opening of the 10-week Grade Transformation Program, where they train them in all of those strategies and techniques and much more. If you have a question that you would like for me to answer in one of these weekly videos, please just email it to support@rocksolidstudy.com, and I will endeavor to answer it in the next few weeks throughout this term 1 of answering all of your questions. Until next week, have a fantastic week. I really appreciate you being here and sharing this time on this video with me, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.